Hi guys, Ronda Winstead here with you. Hello, hello, hello. I am happy to be here with you. Okay, so we are still working on this Midori style journal. This is the cover, and this is the second video in this. So we are going to put the eyelets ready for the elastic, and then we will work on the pages and stuff to go inside our book. As you can see, it is very sturdy now, and I am going to kind of flatten it out so we can go ahead and punch our holes and whatnot. These are my tools. This is what I use to do my hole punching. I've mentioned before, those of you that follow me, you know I have a if I could talk, I would say I have a crocodile, but I don't like it. Now, maybe I got a funky one, I don't know. But I just don't care for it. And this is what I've been used to using, is just a hammer and the tools. So this is how I put my, punch my holes and for the eyelets, for the elastic, to hold the little individual signatures, and also to hold it together, the elastic around. Okay, now this is in the center. Because I've stitched this in the center, I don't really need to, well, that may not be true. I do need to kind of pay attention. All right, let me grab a piece of paper here. Okay. If you'll recall, if you watched the other video, I made this just a little bit smaller than what I had intended to do. But this is basically the size that is going to go in here. And that creates a little bit of a challenge because, so I have to do one of two things. The whole idea with the Midori style is you put it in, this can show you better what I'm talking about. So you put your notebooks in with this stretch elastic, and it holds it nicely, but you can take it out to write in it. So it's really, really comfortable. This is great, great, great for actual journaling. For actual journaling. But as you can see, this needs to be smaller to go under the elastic. If it's not, then what you have to do is you have to cut a V in your notebook to accommodate for that. Or, you know, so I have to decide, do I want it to be, do I want it to be smaller? In other words, do I want to make it smaller, or do I want to, like for instance, if I were to put, well, let me get a pencil here to show you what I'm talking about. And this is something that you will have to decide. Say I put right here and right here, say, my hole. To make it work to where this would fit, would slide in nicely, I would need to do something of this nature. So that this could slip underneath, and then these would fit. Did that make sense? But then, of course, when I'm pulling it out, it's gonna, you know, this is gonna be kind of like crinkly or sort of bunch up. Try to, so that could be an issue. Oh. What to do, what to do, what to do. I think we just better adjust our pages. I'm more comfortable with, because we haven't made any yet, I'm more comfortable with doing that than making this fit. Okay, so I am just eyeballing this. I'm using this as my center line. I am, close your ears. If that bothers you. And, okay. So, I had already decided that I was going to use the white. And we shall put that in from the back. And then I will get my attachment to go in. And of course, if you've got your tool, then you don't need to worry about that. It's just a real simple whatever. But this is simple for me. I mean, it works and I'm good with that. All right, so continuing on, my dears. And I think that I will pull out some of these. Now, this is something that you won't need to deal with if you're using your crocodile. That periodically I have to clean this out to give myself more room, and it's been quite a while since I have cleaned this out. So I just, you know, stick a pin or a needle or something that's fairly sharp. And I don't know what you would even call these. Are they setter tools? Eyelet setter tools? I know I'm pretty sure they're cheaper than crocodiles. But I've had so many people swear by crocodiles, so I think maybe I just got a fluke of one or something. But, or it really didn't like me. I'm a nice person. But my machine said no, no, no. Okay, so now we'll do the bottom. And we will get, again, we will make sure you go in from the right side, which is your outside, to the inside so you don't get this wrong way. Okay. First one's done. So this is, I mean, it's just simple. You can go ahead, you can measure, like for instance, I think I'm going to do this, I'm just kind of eyeballing here, and on this side, eyeballing here, I'll come down and do the same, and do the same here. And we shall continue. We'll get this guy going. And actually, this is kind of fun. If you're like, this is a good thing to do, like, if you're mad at something, get that aggression out. Better on this than on somebody, right? Sorry about the noise, my friends. And Yeah. We are just... Okay. It's coming together well so far. We shall continue. I am going to turn this video off in just a short period of time, but I thought I would just get started. One of our granddaughters, the one that we live close to here in town, she is playing in the pit for a musical. This is the last night, and we are going to go to the musical and listen to her and, of course, everybody else and watch the musical. I think it's going to be super fun. See how fast we did that? Now, this is not something that I have seen, but I do it because I just think it's pretty, a decorative element. You don't have to have these extra ones. I just do it because I think, like I said, I just think they're pretty. So, we'll just go about here. And do we want to do them across? I guess we can do them across. Sometimes when we don't, we make it so that if we make a mistake, it's not quite so noticeable. Whoops. And there again, get your crocodile working. And let me just, we shall do the same up here. Hopefully we can get this taken care of. I'm going to try a different tool. But that's not it. Let's see. A lot of my sharper needles I've got in my Roxy's Journal of Stitchery stuff, and it's not sitting in front of me. So we'll just kind of work with that. Anyway, I'm super excited to go watch the musical. I don't remember what the title of it is, but my granddaughter's playing the piano, and that's pretty fun as you see your children and grandchildren's, really start to develop their own talents and abilities. That's exciting. Okay, so let's go here. Did I get that? And right here. I'm knocking all my pens and things down. They're like, oh! This looks like the center. So this is where we are going to, let's see, that's about halfway. I'm going to go just above it, just a smidgen. This is going to be for our, okay. Now see, that's a little off, but I'm a little off. Depending on the day, I may be a lot off. Okay, come on, come on. I was just really kind of hoping to get this part done before I headed out. And then when I get back, of course, I will continue. And we shall proceed and make one of these delicious little goodies. All right. I have an extra mat on top of here, which I just use for this kind of thing to kind of save my mat underneath my regular cutting mat. I don't use it much for the fabric making of quilting or anything like that, but I do use it a lot for cutting with my papers, as many of you have noticed. This girl likes her quilting tools. I have had, you know, the fun, the cutter that you put in, or that you slide in, and it, you know, I've had several of those. And I've used them, and I like them, but the blades go dull a lot faster than my rotary cutter and mat board, which is why I've gone to that. Okay, now this is cool. This is good. Let me clean up my little mess there. And here we go. Okay, now that, okay, I'm not like completely happy with that. Whoops, wrong scissors. These are fabric scissors. I don't know if I will do anything to address that or not. A lot of this is just showing you guys how to do this process. I mean, you could, I don't know. It's not horrible. It's not horrible. Okay, so then we just go ahead and we just sort of stretch it back in shape, like so. And it's ready to have our elastics put in. Okay? Cool. Coming along. Let me go ahead and wrap these up and put them away for another day. I think a person should work with whatever tools you're comfortable with working with. I don't know. I don't seem to be able to speak very well today, do I? Okay. So, let me put that aside. And I don't know if I currently have any elastic that will work. I may need to buy some more. Let's bring out what I've got. You know, this blue I think will work. I think this is what we'll use. So I've obviously used a lot of this, and when I buy it, there are certain colors that I've used a lot more than others, as you can see. This is the same color as that one. So I think we'll go from this one and yeah, let's just take that off there. Okay. Okay. Let me put this back. Now you're going to ask me how much you need, aren't you? And I'm going to say I'm not sure. but we'll try to sort of pay attention to that as we're working on this one. Okay, so I'm going to leave it there, my friends, but for you, it'll just be a continuation. I'm going to go listen to a musical and listen to my granddaughter play the piano, and I shall return. Okay, what was a several hour time away from you guys was the next second for you. So that's good. Yes, it's the next day, and I am getting ready. We're getting ready to string this. Now, I measured how long this was, and this is approximately 1 3/4 of a yard. So just to play it safe, you might plan on 2 yards, but you might not need quite that much. So let's go ahead and get started on this elastic, and let me see if there's anything. Now, I have purchased mine normally at Joann's. It's this particular one was a thick sparkle elastic cord, 1.2 millimeters. I don't know, and this is 3.6 millimeters and thick elastic cord. So look for elastic cord, and you can determine, what of that you want. Okay, I don't smoke, but I do keep a lighter here. These fray a little bit, the ends, when you cut them. And if you take just a little bit of flame to that, that will tie that off and it won't fray anymore. All right. So let's see if I can remember the process. Okay, so let's start. It doesn't matter which one you start with, obviously, but I'm starting from the inside and I'm going to the outside, okay? And then I'm going to bring it clear down to the furthest one opposite, and then I'm going to go in right here. And I want my elastics on the same side of this, okay? So let's just, and we're going to want this fairly taut because you don't want, if it's loosey-goosey, your notebooks will, they'll be like flopping. You want it nice and taut. Okay, so let's just give that a try. And I am going to do a square knot. And we shall see. Normally I don't do this on camera, you know. And I'm not going to pull it any tighter than that at this point, because I may need to adjust this. So I'm going to give it room, okay? And I'm not even going to do this anymore to that until I know 100% sure that this is where I want my elastics, and this is good. Okay, so that's what we do. It's pretty simple, right? Now I found excuse me, some that I had prepared when I did a whole bunch of these, like I mentioned before, or it was probably in my first video. And I'll put the link to that in the description box below this video. I don't know. I did 20 or 30 of these and gave them away as gifts and different things that way. So I had a whole bunch of fillers. I made a whole bunch from just regular copy paper, just different colors I had at the time. I had a bunch. I still have a bunch. Now, this is what I wanted to show you. This is where you have to be careful because this first, the farthest eyelet hole or spot, if you will, that's where we're going to slip our notebook in. And as you can see, this doesn't fit as it currently is. And this is where I mentioned to you that to make it fit, we'd have to trim off the corners, or we'd have to trim down the whole notebook. So let's do some measuring here for just a sec and see what we might want to do. And I may want to play with one just to try both ways so that we decide together, which way we want to go. Okay, so I'm measuring just underneath this hole and underneath this hole, and that is a 5-inch. Okay, 5.5 inch is a normal, or for US, not Europe, but US, a standard sheet of paper folded in half and then in half again. Okay, well, let's try. We did do one, didn't we? Let's try that. This is the 5.5, and we want it to fit in a 5-inch slot. So let's see if we can do that without it ripping this in a really bad way. Okay, you see what we're dealing with here. Okay. Okay. So it's a little fiddly, or a little, you know. So if our paper is pretty thin, that's going to rip. This would be better if we're not going to take it out. Okay, that was a good kind of a, you know, see what you think kind of deal. And so let's get another ruler out. And obviously, most of you aren't going to be using a quilting ruler and a rotary cutter, but use your cutter, you know, use your Fiskars or whatever it is, or if you're really good, you know, go the scissor route. Excuse me. So I'm just measuring, and I am going to go ahead and cut this down. Maybe, you know what? I think that's an awful lot that I'm trying to cut through. So let's open it up, and let's get the fatter ruler. And let's do it that way. See how we get on. Excuse me. So we'll just do a pass on that. Okay. And the reason I am going from both sides is I had rounded my corners, and I'm not sure how I want to round them, or if I want to clip them or keep them straight. And so this way, it's the same. So whatever I do, right, it will be the same. Okay, let's kind of clear that off. And I have not stitched these together either. Let's see how many. I usually put somewhere around 20-ish, 15-ish. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 in this one. Okay, now let's see, where is our... So obviously this is its whole thing, and I'm not doing the video really on the little notebooks going in. Because I have no doubt that you have some great ideas of what to do there. But see what I'm talking about? It did not crunch my papers up to put that in, okay? So that is perfect. And then the width is great because this gives room that you could put, if you want, you could attach a holder and put a pen, or you can just, put your, well, you could just do it this way too. Just stick it in like this and it'll be fine. Also, you've got room to play with. And you can put tabs and things like that on here for your little, journal. Okay, this is awesome. Yay! All right, let's go ahead and finish these elastics, and then we will be able to perhaps see what we need to do, if anything further. Okay, see, I just the bare minimum, just enough to take the frayed parts off. Now, here again, we're going to start from the closest to the middle, from the inside. Then we're going to put it in the top hole and bring it clear down to the bottom hole this time, just the opposite of what we did. And in through the middle hole, or the closest one to the center. Keeping in mind, again, we want these threads on one side or the other. It's important, and I'll tell you the reason for that. This has to flow freely. If you can't lift this up, you can't get your book in and out. And if you have this on one side and you tie it, then you've knotted that up. You've messed it up. But I know that you are not going to do that. You are going to be fabulous. So there again, just kind of eyeball it. And I suppose what you could do, and I think I did do this, it's been a long time, my friends, since I originally did these. I mean, I've done a few here and there, but when I mass made a bunch of these, see, when I flip this, I don't want there to be a lot of give. That's a lot of give. I want it to be somewhat taut. Okay. But what I did was I did one, and then I undid it. And here again, we're doing the okay. So then we'll go ahead and cut that. So we've done the square knot. And mine will be different than yours. It depends upon how big your journal is. Like this technically should have been 1/2 inch bigger, right? And so then I would have, had to adjust for that. So my telling you the exact amount of what I'm using isn't necessarily going to be all that helpful. Okay, now let's get the third one in from the closest one, the bottom there, and up through the top. Maybe. Maybe. And by the way, if I haven't already, let me wish you a happy Sunday. I hope, and I'm going to the bottom, and then down through the next one, keeping these on one side or the other. It doesn't matter which. And again, let's go ahead and get this kind of taut. And actually, with this glittery, I'm kind of pulling it so it's about the same distance on my, the glitter kind of forms a pattern, which is, which gives me a little bit of playroom there. All right, well, let's give that a go. I know it's difficult to see, but so you're doing a square knot, which is basically under, over, Now, of course, one is going to mess me up and be like, and then over, under, or over, under, and then under, over, whichever you do. Okay. So, there we go with this part. When you've got these all adjusted to the well, adjusted to the right tension, I guess, to the right pull, then you can go ahead and trim these down. And very carefully, you can go ahead and put your put fire to it. Or you could use a little bit of glue, or if you're uncomfortable with the cigarette lighter thing. I mean, okay. And then what I do with mine is I kind of position mine so that the little kind of knots, and you're really not going to notice this a whole lot. And I trim them down, and I position them a little bit differently so it's not all balled up in one area. Okay, so then, and then she said, let me show you what I've got here. This, I have a double threaded or elastic, double elastic, and I have just included a little bead that I had made. So you could do a little charm, you could do it plain, you can do it however, you know, however you want to do that part. Sorry. Okay. So I'm going to double knot this. And again, I'm telling you, it was about 1 3/4 yards. And as you can see, I'm going to have plenty and then some. But you would rather have too much than too little. Okay, now to secure the inside one, the wraparound. Okay, I am doubling this as well, and I am going to push those through, and then we're going to put those through the other side. You guys, this is fun. I'm probably not doing a fabulous job of this, but I have no doubt that you'll just rock it. You'll be like, yeah, you kind of had an issue, Rhonda, but yeah. Okay, so here's my thread, my elastic cording doubled, and I want to, you can do one or two things with it. You can tie this again in a square knot, these two together, or you can knot this rather heavily so it doesn't pull out here, and do the same here. So you have a couple of options to do that. And what you want to do before that is you will pull, because you want a good, comfortable to go around, okay? And this is what's going to keep your journal closed. So you can see that that is way, way too much. And actually, I'm not going to do that until I have my notebooks in here. When I have my notebooks all in, then I know that it'll be accurate. Okay? And upside down. Okay, so that's all I'm going to do for that. Let's go ahead and put one booklet together, and let me show you what you can do. We'll use my little guinea pig here. As you can see, I have a cover for my notebooks, and then I have my notebooks. And I have printed, I have in my shop these lines, thin lines, and I have wide lines also that you can just print up or down on your papers, so you don't have to have lined. But for me, I do better, sometimes if it is lined. And I added tracing paper on to vary this a little bit. I personally, I'm a paper snob. I'm sorry, you guys. I really am. It frustrates me to no end. And I think that's part of the reason why the Journal with Me series, this is hard on me. Guys and girls, this is hard on me because I have to have the right pen. I have to have the right paper. It has to be the right size. It has to be yada, yada, yada. Yeah, okay. So work with me here, okay? Be patient with me. All right. So what I created, and I saw this when I started this many years ago, and at that time I didn't have a YouTube channel, and I didn't write down who it was that gave me the idea, but what they did, when I first started making these, I attached the cover to the journal, and then I watched somebody who did hers separately, and I thought, oh, that's brilliant. And the reason she did that is so that she could just put in new notebooks, but keep her covers the same that she decorated, and keep her tabs. And I thought, wow, that's really cool. So these are really versatile. That's another really cool thing about it. And so that's what I would recommend that you do, is to have your cover separate than your journal. So on this one, you can go ahead and stitch it together or sew it, however you do yours, however you bind your journals. It's all good. There's no one way that's like the best way. But I'm going to go over here to my sewing machine, and I have pink thread in my sewing machine. Well, that's okay. I'm going to stitch down to secure this page. Okay. And that's how I'm going to do mine. And you'll notice that I haven't, let me pull my thread through. Okay. And then I'm going to tie a little knot so that my threads don't fray and my little binding come undone. Okay, there's one, and we will pull the other one through. We will get this. Okay. All right. Okay, I heard you. I heard your questions. Some of you were asking me, why didn't I go to the end? Aha, I heard you. Let's smooth that down. I don't go to the endings because when you're moving this in and out of your, your cover, depending on what stitching you use here, like if I'm doing this with a sewing machine, if I were doing this like the regular 3 or 5, this would probably be a 3. That wouldn't be an issue, and you wouldn't have this bound anyway. But when you stitch, people have a tendency to go clear through, but you're going to get tears here and here on the ends as you move the papers in and out over time. And I found, and not horrible, but to me, I wanted to kind of eliminate that. And by eliminating my stitching in those areas, that took care of the problem. Minimal problem, but yeah. And I also increased my normal stitch size on my sewing machine is a 2.2, and I increased it to a 3, just so it's a bigger stitch. Okay, so you can decide then, do you want to have these squared off, or do you want to use, all of these. I like the way the finish, I just like the the trimmed edges. So, excuse me, that's what we're gonna do. This is we are memory keepers. This is what I use. You use whatever you want, and I'm going to use my second setting. So this just gives it a nice look. And I really didn't intend on doing this. You guys, I just get working here with you guys, and then I'm just like, okay, okay, let's do this. Okay, well, let's do this other too. And it's hard to stop. Okay. But I am going to have to wind this video up here pretty soon. I have a feeling this is way long. And this is Sunday, and I am going to be watching General Conference. It's called General Conference in my church, where they broadcast from Salt Lake City, Utah, talks from our prophet and apostles and other leaders of the church. And I look forward to that for inspiration and guidance for the next 6 months. They have it in the spring and in the fall. For those of you that aren't familiar, many of you are. I know I've mentioned it before, but it's not like anyway, I belong to the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. We used to be commonly called the Mormons, but our prophet has asked us to go by our official name because there were people that honestly didn't understand or know that our foundation, our church, is founded on Jesus Christ. So, anyway, but that's me. And whether you are religious or not, I love that we're here together Okay. So, technically that could be the... Excuse me. Gotta clear my throat. I'll be right back. Oh. That frustrates me, you guys. Let me get a drink. Hubby has been flavoring his waters with these non-sugared, little powders and stuff that you can put in your water to make it taste better. And I have succumbed every once in a while to do one of those. And this is strawberry flavor. It's really good. Okay. This needs a cover. And you could do, you can do anything with these. This notebook process making can and should be so much fun. Just pull out your papers and you can do it in all different kinds of ways. But make it something that you would enjoy writing in. Okay. When I was looking for these little notebooks, I came across some things I know I've done videos on, but it's been a while, and I was just like, oh, I love it. I love it. Look at these. Look at these. I don't even remember how long ago when it was that I did these. But I think I want to turn some of these into my little covers. Aren't those cute? Oh my goodness. Sometimes, and please don't take this the wrong way, because I'm not a super confident artist, feeling like, oh yeah, my stuff is like, oh, I'm not that way at all. Not at all. I'm quite frankly surprised more often than not when people love what I do. I'm genuinely thrilled. But anyway, so when I do something and I set it aside, or I'm done with it, I put it away, and then say a year or two later and I find it, I'm just like, oh, this is really cute. Is that prideful? I don't mean it to be, you guys. But I was just like, oh, the pink. It's a little flower. So anyway, I found these and I thought, okay, this has got to turn into the cover. Absolutely. And these are the normal size of what you would with an 8.5 by 11 piece of paper. So I don't want... So what I have to do, I have to cut it down. I have to cut it down. But that's all right. I just thought these were super cute. Now I think I'm going to need to reinforce it just a little bit. And it's not going to be 100% as cute because I'm taking away the edge. And if it's really horrible, then I'll get rid of this and I don't know, do something different. But I just thought, oh, this is just so fun. So I haven't really, you guys, I'm so sorry. I've been so focused on showing you how to do this that I haven't really visited with you about, how are you doing? Oh, and I could have, that didn't need to be quite, excuse me, quite so short. There's a hint. You see a hint of the pages behind it, but that's okay. You are going to do yours without all of Ronda's mistakes. You can just be inspired and then just do something so much better. Isn't that cute? Oh, look at that. That is just cute. I'm telling you, that's cute. Not in this video, but I think I'm going to have to decorate this side too, just because this side I think is crying just a little bit. Because she's feeling like a little bit of a plain Jane. And I don't want her to feel bad, so I'm probably going to have to decorate her. Okay, so this is the process. Have I answered all of the questions? Let me just... So, okay, here's one thing. Oh, golly. I'm going to have to do another video. Okay, then the last video will be it'll be short-ish. I don't know. It'll be what it'll be. But I am going to call it a day. And then I'm going to do my little journal notebooks and things, and maybe we'll do the tabs and decorate just a little bit together in the next video. We'll put it together and I will show you how you can get 5 notebooks in a 3 slotted journal. Yeah. Okay. All right, you guys, thank you so very, very much for joining me. I know this is non-traditional, the journal with me, but we are getting a journal ready to work in. So that's a good thing, and I hope that you've had a little bit of inspiration. I love you guys. You're amazing, and I love your stories, and some of your stories make me cry because they're sad, and I feel my heart, I just want to hug you, okay? And I just want you to know that you are loved, not just by me, but you are loved, and you're not alone, and I don't want anybody to ever feel that you're alone. Yeah, so next video we will finish this, or this type of video. So until next video, you guys have a fabulous Sunday. Love you. Bye-bye.